Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vero and today we are flipping through my 2023 bullet journal. This journal was kindly gifted to me by my pen pal Alex. Thank you so much, Alex. And it's an Archer and Olive A5 dot grid white page notebook. The pages are 160 GSM. There are 192 pages in this bad boy. It's got pink gilded edges and it is beautiful. A little bit dirty, but I mean, it's been with me for a whole year, so you know. Now, I totally appreciate that some people just kind of want to see the video of me flipping through without me talking about it. So if you're one of those people, just skip to the time code down below and you'll just have a 2-minute session of me flipping through this entire journal, so you don't have to hear me talking about it. But if you would like to hear me talking about it, then continue watching. For my yearly spreads in 2023, I went with a sort of ultra maximalist theme. It took me well over 10 hours of just filming to finish, and that didn't even include some of the later yearly spreads that you will see in this video. While I absolutely love how everything turned out, I don't think I'll ever do something that intense ever again. I would say that my future log didn't work as well for me as I'd hoped, and by the time I had decided that, I had already done the same layout in my 2024 journal. So great job. If you haven't started, maybe try a different version. Don't do that. It's not as nice as I was hoping it would be. I never ended up doing a video on how I got monetized on YouTube, and if that's something you're still interested in watching, let me know. But for an indication, I hit 1,000 subscribers and 4K watch hours in January 2023. I got into the YouTube Partner Program in February, and I got my first pay in March. I only received money from YouTube 3 times in 2023, as you have to hit about 100 Australian dollars before getting paid, and overall from YouTube I made just over $380 I think in 2023. I like looking at my growth tracker for Instagram and YouTube because you can see that for most of the year I flatlined hard. I had high hopes for the year, as you can tell from, you know, where I was putting the place liners, but I only grew in December, and like it's a very sharp steep up peak in December, and everything else is kind of like very slow, very steady. Overall though, I doubled my subscribers in 2023, so thank you very much. And on Instagram I grew about 700 followers. My goals for the year were cool and I achieved many of them, and others I didn't even touch. I think the issue was setting goals so early in 2022, meaning that I didn't really have time to think about them. I just kind of put them in there for the sake of a video. This year that has changed, and I'm taking my time with setting my goals just because I want it to be really achievable but challenging at the same time, but not too challenging that I don't do it. You know what I mean? For my 23 and 23 fun bucket list, I ended up crossing out a lot of things and changing the titles of a lot of goals because I just couldn't get to them. For example, I wanted to take myself on a solo date to my favorite restaurant where I got dressed up and didn't take my phone, or like I did but like didn't really use it and just kind of sat in a little corner, and for some reason I just couldn't work up the nerve to do it, so I took myself to a candlelight concert instead. Just couldn't get to the restaurant. I have an issue with that. Like I'm too nervous. I don't know why. I haven't finished tracking my moods for 2023, but overall a positive trend with mostly green, indicating I was mostly happy throughout the year. I will fill the rest of the pixels in by using my 5-year memory journal where I write what happened every day of the year. I just haven't gotten around to it, and in that journal I can kind of tell from my writing style when I was a little bit down or when I was very happy. We also have my vision board, which is a really cool item in my journal, and everything that's on this kind of are things that I actually ended up doing in the year. For example, I was always swimming, I went on a road trip, I did my nails, I went swimming with whales, I did go scuba diving a lot, I got a full-time job, I read a lot, I'm on top of my personal finances, didn't quite get to the cleaning products like making my own, you know, just couldn't get around to it. I didn't drink enough water, but I tried, and then my goal was to make more food, like to cook more, and I did not get around to that. Oops, but that'll change. Oh, and I did do some yoga, but it was like half, like not amazing. Could have been better. Then my word of the year was consistency, which definitely worked for swimming. Didn't work as well for other areas of my life, but you know, at least I was consistent with something. I also had a spring cleaning spread, which I did for an Archer and Olive blog post, but I have not really used it all that much. I love my reading spread. It's fun to see when I was really into reading and when I was not. Don't ask me for a book recommendation though, or a summary of what I've read because I've probably forgotten. But if you do want to check it out or check out what I've read, you can follow my Goodreads account for a little bit more information. I do typically or sometimes post reviews of books that I have read, but not always. On to my monthly spreads now. We have the month of January. The one unique thing about January is my habit tracker. While the habit tracker itself is not unique, think the item in there is unique, which is how many dives I went on in the month of January and how many dives per day. Because I was undertaking my dive master certification. I think I have some diving videos on this channel really randomly kind of interspersed because I didn't know where to post them and I wanted to post them somewhere. I also used a structured weekly spread style for the month of January. I think about half of the months I used structured weekly spreads and the rest of the time I used rolling. I do have a month overview, but I had a full page, not so PG-13 rant, so we will skip that. February was a fun romantic rays theme, you know, Valentine's Day, but like I was diving, so like romantic rays. And while super aesthetic, you can tell I was less present in the journal, and that was because I was always too tired after diving to use it. I also didn't have anything on aside from diving, so there was no need to really use it either way. Here we finally see the different things that I track in my February or monthly reviews. So I track my positives, my negatives, my moods, the movies that I've seen, the series that I've seen, the music that I listen to. Sometimes I'm brainstorming for goals for the next month, and my Instagram followers and my YouTube subscribers. This obviously didn't get used very much. I think I was just quite inactive everywhere, and I actually forgot to include some of these items in the following months, so I actually downscale a lot of the items that I track. In March, I was still feeling very Ocean Child vibes, so I went for an octopus theme. I came back home from my diving expedition. It wasn't really an expedition, I just call it that because it sounds fancy. And then I went back to work. My big project for the year was Laps for Life, which is where I swam 31 kilometers over 31 days and raised over $800 for youth mental health in Australia, a cause that is very close to my heart. I will be doing it again this year, but I'll be aiming for 50 kilometers over 31 days and aiming for 750 Australian dollars, although I hope to be able to surpass that. So if you're interested in supporting me or youth mental health, click the link, I think in the card or down in the description, and if you feel like donating, definitely go ahead. Or share the link, you know, that's also a way to get the message out there. What I love about March is that whenever you flip the page, the same two octopi, whatever you want to call it, are always there. Now, while I absolutely love this, it was a huge pain in the bum to do, and I will unlikely ever do this again because it was so annoying to paint. It's watercolor, so you have to let it dry before you do the next thing, so you can't do it all at once. It's just very frustrating. One nice goal that I hit though in the month of March was swimming 5 kilometers in one go for the first time, and I achieved that in 1 hour and 41 minutes, which was very exciting for me. Also, I don't know if you can hear those birds outside, but that's something about Canberra or about Australia that you don't necessarily have in Europe or big populated cities, is birds just squawking about all the time. As I'm recording the audio for this video, I just did a poll on Instagram to see which theme of 2023 was everyone's favorite, and I think April is going to win, or either be a close second. Now, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've never seen Dutch doors / tabs done like this, and I'm pretty stoked with how they turned out. It's like a 3D forest. I mean, that's pretty sick, if I do say so myself. It was a take on a theme I did in September 2020, but I executed it so much better this time around, and if you're interested in seeing that video, you can check it out over here. Also, if you're interested in any of these themes, you'll find the video links in the description. Not all of them have videos, but most of them do. I also love the attention to detail of this weekly spread with the little circle days, like on the top it's cut out. And while April was a truly beautiful month in my journal, it was the start of a big slump in my personal life. I was enjoying my job, but was having a bad case of the post-travel blues and just wanted to escape again. I'd also been waiting to hear back from a job application for months and months and was feeling quite anxious about it. This definitely translates in the next 2 months, where I go from bright, vibrant to slightly dull and less creative. I tried boosting myself by tracking way more habits, but the month of May felt quite dull for me, even though the doodles are quite cute. I evidently wasn't feeling it because I started to write April instead of May for my review. That being said, I did read a lot in the month of May. More than I've ever read in a single month, I reckon. I read 14 plus books. Crazy. Maybe I was escaping through reading. That's a thing, right? In June, I tried boosting creativity again and came up with a very fun monthly log. An envelope with a card that comes out, and on the back, there are a few more habits to track. I also like the layering of different paper and the fun scrapbook feel it has to it. I want to do more scrapbooking in 2024, I think, but in my long form journal or my reading journal. I don't know. I have too many journals now. How many are you using in 2024? Because I think I'm using like 3, 4 or something like that, which is a bit ridiculous, I think. But I know that other people are using more. So I don't know how you do that. Let me know how you do that, how you pull it off. Let me know. Another fun 3D element-ish was my weekly spreads that are a bit wavy and fun. But clearly, aside from work shifts, I was not using my journal all that much. That being said, I didn't write down a single negative, but I think that's more to do with being lazy. One good thing from June was that that I finally got my new job. Well, I got the announcement that I was getting a new job, and with that I quit my current/old job and embarked on a 2-month long road trip with my mum in the months of July and August. You might think I'm crazy for doing such a long road trip with my mother, but we get along really well, most of the time anyway. We travelled the east coast of Australia in our car and went all the way up to Cape York, which is the northernmost tip of Australia. We drove over 10,000 kilometres, and for any weirdos out there, that's 6,213 miles, which doesn't sound nearly as impressive, by the way. I'm kidding, you're not that weird if you use miles. Don't want to offend anyone out there, but also kind of just a little bit, because kilometres is clearly superior. If you're interested in seeing that journal, by the way, check out my travel journal flip through video, which also serves as a bit of a travel vlog for the trip. With 2 months on the road, my desire to bullet journal fell to extreme lows, even though I was living through extreme highs. I did originally film a July plan with me, but abandoned the editing stage because I was traveling. I had so much fun. I didn't even plan in August to my bullet journal. See, it goes straight to September. And with September came spring, came a new job, came an overall very happy Vero. Spring was the return of florals. I felt happier and lighter and more optimistic than I was before my road trip. I was dealing with my personal finances in a way that I felt proud, and life was getting really good. I mean, look at that cutout. So nice. The way the florals flow across the pages. It was also the last time in 2023 that I used a structured weekly spread, but man, I cannot express how beautiful September is. I've been toying with the idea of making a bullet journal for people to buy, like a printout or something, or like an actual physical journal, I'm not sure. And while I certainly haven't gotten past the idea stage, I think that this September theme would make an excellent theme for a journal. Would you be interested in buying one if I ever got off my bum and made one? Or do you watch my channel more for inspiration in your own bullet journal? Let me know. Continuing with spring, we have October. I went for a tulip that reflected Floriade, which is Canberra's yearly floral festival. Every page has beautiful tulips, and I really can't say which is my favourite. In September, I was gifted some products by Stabilo Boss, including this 36 pack of highlighters. Is it 36? I can't be bothered to count. Can someone pause the video and count for me? Let me know in the comments. This spread with my daily routine was entirely made with highlighters, nothing else, and I think they turned out brilliantly. I also loved my Dutch doors, how they fall around the tulips on the bottom right of the page. One thing I will say with the rolling weekly spreads is that you can never plan how many pages you'll need. Some months I want heaps of space and others like none. A year doesn't go by without a full-blown water theme from yours truly, and this year it fell in November. I went for a fun pool theme, which kind of reflected my overall arching theme of personal life, which was I was swimming more. I really loved this theme. It wasn't everybody's favorite, but I really loved it. That being said, it wasn't my favorite theme. No, that title is reserved for December. December's theme was inspired by Papi Rofi and her waterfall Dutch doors, which is a term I never thought I'd use in my life, by the way. I love how this turned out. I love my Christmas ornaments with my signature leaves. I love every detail of this month. Archer and Olive journals have ultra thick pages, but for some reason, when you glue extra paper on top of it, they just feel better. Like the thickness feels nicer. Is that a weird thing to say? Can anyone else relate? One thing that I started in November was tracking the weather, the temperature, and the wind. I used to think people were a bit weird for tracking those stats, but I have found that they're really useful for me personally because I ride to work every single day. Tracking the temperature and the wind from my bed in the morning helps me determine whether I should wear shorts or leggings, a jumper or no jumper. It tells me how early I should leave because if the wind is going in the opposite direction to me, I know I'll have to push extra hard and it'll take me more time to get to work. Unfortunately, I don't have an electric bicycle, so good old-fashioned pedals and using those quads. Was that the right muscle? I can't remember. Anyway, your legs. The last spread I have for 2023 is my Christmas spread, and it's a beautiful 3D pop-up of a Christmas tree. I'd really like to play around with more 3D pop-up things in the new year. I think they're super fun and they're always really effective. A few extra spreads that I have are this page where I've started writing out my goals for 2024, along with a content calendar that I tried out and failed to use properly. I have a few blank pages left that I'll say would have been for the month of August had I decided to do something. I have a pen test page and a spread I prepared while I was an Archer and Olive ambassador that is still super useful to me. It's a wardrobe staples and colours and style spread. I determined what colours look best on me and chose my accent colours. Now, when I'm shopping, I never buy things that don't fit those colours. And if you're interested in that video, check it out. That way, everything in my wardrobe will match everything else in my wardrobe. And there you have it, my 2023 bullet journal flip through. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you sat through all the way until now, here is a shorter version of just a flip through, no talking, of my whole bullet journal. Enjoy! Thank you so much for watching. If you want to set up your 2024 bullet journal, click right over here.